Chapter 21. Terrorist Attack 2. Ouch. Peter grunts as he lifts himself out of a totaled yellow taxi cab. Standing next to the cab with a heartbroken look on his face is a man Peter recognized from the Deadpool movies in his past life. Insert picture of Dopinder here. My car. Dopinder mutters in shock and sadness. Sorry about that. Peter grunts as he brushes some broken glass off of his suit. I'm sure your insurance will cover it. My car! Dopinder exclaims. Grasped in Peter's hand is the phone that the forced suicide bomber was using shortly before his explosive death. He managed to snatch it before launching the man into the air. As Peter steps into the street, a group of people surrounds him, including medics and policemen. Are you all right? A paramedic asks as Peter stretches his sore back. Yeah, I'm good, Peter says as he shrugs his shoulders a couple of times. You can go and take care of the injured. I'm already healing up. Yes, sir. The medics listen to his orders as if Peter were their boss and scurry away. Looking down at the phone, Peter sees that the woman hung up already. She probably saw Peter's actions on the news and knew her plan failed. At least partially since the first bomb blew up. Though, Peter does have her phone number now. Are you sure you're alright, Spiderman? A police officer asks awkwardly, feeling odd about using Peter's hero name. Yeah, I'm good, Peter says as he waves off their concerns. I need one of you to take me to whoever's in charge. At first, the officers looked at each other in surprise, as Spider-Man never comes in contact with the police. They usually show up and find web criminals to arrest. This is definitely new for them. Sure, follow me. One of the policemen says, leading Peter to a command tent that's been put up nearby. As they walked inside, Peter saw two groups of people standing on the opposite sides of a table. One side has a few high-level policemen, who are dressed in their formal uniforms. Standing on the other side are a few men and women in blue jackets with the letters FBI printed in yellow text on the back. Look, until the people from the State Department arrive, this is a federal matter and you need to take a back seat. We have more training and experience in handling acts of terrorism. It's just that simple. A lead woman with an FBI jacket explains. The upper echelon of the New York City Police Department didn't look happy after hearing this, but knew arguing any further would be a waste of time, especially while they're dealing with a major terrorist attack. Excuse me, sirs. The policeman that escorted Peter inside makes their presence known. What? Can't you see we're busy? A formally dressed policeman releases his frustrations on the poor guy, but freezes as he sees who's standing behind him. Spider-Man? The lead female FBI agent says surprisingly. Yup, it's me, Peter said with a wave. Do you need something? She asked confusedly. Nodding his head, Peter pulled out the phone and held it up, showing everyone in the room. The man I threw away from the building was a forced suicide bomber. The first explosion was probably the work of a similar suicide bomber. While I was helping people and clearing exits, I overheard a conversation between the second bomber and a woman. She has the man's family held hostage and forced the guy to blow himself up. I didn't make it in time to stop him, so I chucked him away, as you probably saw. Peter explains as he places the cell phone on the table. Jesus Christ. One of the policemen mutters. How can we assist you, Spider-Man? The lead FBI agent asks. I'm going to track the number myself. You know, hack some cell towers and all that, but she could be on the run and covering her tracks already. As Peter says this, both sides of the table look at him disapprovingly, which he ignores. You guys have more resources at your disposal than I do, which is why I'm here. I already memorized the number, so you can keep the phone. The first side to find a location will announce it on this radio frequency. Grabbing a notepad and pen from the table, Peter scribbles a random frequency and pushes it forward. Any questions? Peter asks as he looks around the room. Yes, you are not to hack any cell towers or networks. We can handle this. You've helped enough. The female FBI agent orders. That wasn't a question. Anyone else? Peter says and waits a moment, but no one answers. All right, I'll update you on the radio soon and expect you all to show me the same courtesy. After Peter said this, he dashes out of the tent and portals home after finding a secluded area. Grabbing the ghost laptop, Peter portals back to the skyscraper from earlier and begins hacking into the nearby cell network. Peter still didn't fully trust the laptop as he hasn't thoroughly tested it, but the lives of a mother and her children were at stake. He couldn't save their father, so the least Peter could do is keep the guy's family alive and whole. After 5 minutes, Peter had full access to the cellular towers and networks in the area, as if he were their owner and creator. Searching the phone number, Peter saw that the woman took the battery out her phone, as there wasn't a current signal. Searching the number's past signals, Peter immediately found her last known location. Accessing the radio frequency on his phone, Peter kept his word and informed the FBI and police of the location. Thank you for the help, Spider-Man. We'll have nearby officers create roadblocks on all of the roads within a 5-mile radius of that location. Someone responds after a few seconds. Good, I'll check the location itself. Remember that we're looking for a woman, but that doesn't mean she won't have accomplices. Search every car and have every woman you find speak to me over this radio frequency. I remember her voice perfectly. Peter responds. Alright. We'll have one squad car at each roadblock tuned into this frequency. Make sure you're listening in. Powering down the laptop, Peter tosses it through a portal to his bedroom and opens another portal to the cell phone's last known location. Peter didn't expect the woman to still be here, as her plan failed and Spider-Man was involved. Most criminals run at just the mention of him after all. Stepping out of the portal, Peter looks around and sees a small family home in a suburban neighborhood in Long Island, New York. Not wasting any time, Peter kicks in the front door and rushes inside. Listening carefully, he doesn't hear a single breath or heartbeat in the entire house. Not smelling any blood either, Peter gave it a quick sweep and found no one. Clicking his tongue in annoyance, Peter knew this would happen, which is why he got the FBI and police involved. He's only one person and doesn't have the manpower that they do. Stepping outside of the house, Peter catches a glimpse of an old woman peeking at him through a window across the street. A nosy neighbor, perhaps? Peter thought as he walks across the street. While making his way to the front door, Peter started hearing different roadblock checkpoints reporting in over the radio in his earpiece. Hello. Knocking on the neighbor's door, Peter calls out awkwardly. It's me, Spider-Man. You know, the friendly neighborhood superhero? Hoping that she knows who he is, Peter knocks one more time before she finally opens up. I know who you are, the elderly woman says with venom. You're that spider menace that nice man Jameson keeps warning everyone about. What were you doing across the street? Robbing those poor people, are you? Well, they already left. Now wait here while I call the police, she says as she slams the door in Peter's face. Opening the door himself this time, as she forgot to lock it, Peter does his best to look unthreatening. Look, those people across the street were kidnapped, and I'm trying to find them. Can you tell me what type of car they left in? Peter explains before the elderly woman could interrupt him. Get out of my house, Peter asks as he looks around the room. Yes, you are not to hack any cell towers or networks. We can handle this. You've helped enough. The female FBI agent orders. That wasn't a question. Anyone else? Peter says and waits a moment, but no one answers. All right, I'll update you on the radio soon and expect you all to show me the same courtesy. After Peter said this, he dashes out of the tent and portals home after finding a secluded area. Grabbing the ghost laptop, Peter portals back to the skyscraper from earlier and begins hacking into the nearby cell network. She yells, not listening to Peter at all. Knowing that this is going nowhere, Peter leaves the house and is surprised to see a large group of neighborhood children forming outside. It really is Spider-Man. One of them yells and they all swarm over. Soon, the kids surround him and begin spit-firing question after question at Peter. The poor old lady's lawn was turned into a stomping ground for these excited children. "Quiet!" Peter yells, getting their attention. "Maybe they can help?" Instantly, the children freeze and shut their traps as their idol has commanded. "Someone is in danger. I need to know if any of you have seen anyone leaving that house," Peter says as he points across the street. The kids start looking around at each other before a couple of them raise their hands as if they were in school. After calling on them one by one, Peter got the details he needed. Peter still didn't fully trust the laptop as he hasn't thoroughly tested it, but the lives of a mother and her children were at stake. He couldn't save their father, so the least Peter could do is keep the guy's family alive and whole. After 5 minutes, Peter had full access to the cellular towers and networks in the area, as if he were their owner and creator. Searching the phone number, Peter saw that the woman took the battery out her phone, as there wasn't a current signal. 2 black Escalades just left the house about 15 minutes ago and headed east down the road, which was only a minute or two after the second bomb went off, though the next thing he heard surprised him. They had these blue jackets with yellow writing on the back. My mom said they were FBI. Are the FBI bad guys? One of the boys asks. "Thank you," Peter says as he dashes away to a secluded area. Holding a button on his earpiece, Peter reports his findings over the designated frequency, shocking everyone who was listening in. "Wait, I just let some Escalades pass my checkpoint. They had federal identification," someone reported over the radio. "Where are you?" Peter asks and instantly gets the details. "I'm on the way." Opening a portal in the woods nearby, Peter leaps out of the tree line, surprising the long line of cars leading up to a police blockade. "How long ago did they pass?" Peter asks as he lands in front of the checkpoint. "Maybe a few minutes ago," one of the policemen answers. Hearing this, Peter dashes down the road, quickly building his speed past 100 miles per hour. Chapter 22, Terrorist Attack 3. After running for almost 5 minutes, Peter spotted the tail end of a black Escalade driving in front of him. Thankfully, there weren't any turns up until this portion of the road, so finding them was easy. Since the road is surrounded by woods on both sides, Peter diverted into the woods for cover. Expertly avoiding trees and branches, Peter parkours through the woods and easily catches up to the 2 Escalades. Since the windows were tinted completely black, he couldn't see inside and relied on his hearing to assess the situation. Hearing only small talk and the sound of a radio from the leading car, Peter moved on to the secondary Escalade and instantly frowns. Coming from the back seat, Peter could hear the crying and whimpering of little girls as another voice, probably their mother, consoles them in hushed whispers. From the front seat, he could hear the woman's voice from the phone complaining about the crying children. "If you don't shut those little gremlins up, I'll do it myself, and trust me, you won't like how I get it done." As she says this, Peter hears the cocking of a gun. "I'm already annoyed with that stupid bug, Spider-Man. I don't need to deal with crying children too." "It's okay, girls. You need to calm down, okay? Mommy's here. Don't worry." The mother repeats words like this until the children slowly start to simmer down. Finally, the woman in the passenger seat says in exasperation, holstering her gun. Taking this chance, Peter shoots webs into the wheel wells of each vehicle, causing both cars to come to a screeching halt in the center of the road. As the cars are still slowing to a halt, Peter kicks off of a thick tree and launches himself at the second car, turning himself sideways midair with his body as straight as a pencil. Peter torpedoes feet first into the passenger side window of the Escalade. The 3 hung out throughout the school day as they attended classes. While they went about their day, Flash didn't bother them a single time. Ever since Peter broke his nose and MJ kicked him in the ribs, Flash hasn't bullied a single person in their school. It seemed like all that Flash needed was someone to stand up to him before he could finally learn that he was a bully. Either that, or he's just afraid to act on his earlier impulses. But Peter likes to think his punch helped knock some sense into the guy. While they were going about their day, Peter noticed everyone looking at their phones, including MJ and Ned. "What's going on?" Peter asks as he looks over at MJ's phone. "It's Spider-Man," MJ says as she tilts her phone in Peter's direction. "He made an Instagram account. Check this out." Tapping the play button, the short video Peter posted earlier plays, showing Spider-Man expertly swinging through the towering buildings in NYC. "Wow, what's his name on Insta?" Peter asks, taking his phone out to follow himself, using the trees as cover and keeping himself out of sight. As the gunfire stops, Peter shows himself for a fraction of a second and shoots a web at a nearby shooter and pulls it roughly. Ah. The unlucky gunman screams as he's pulled into the tree line, disappearing from his accomplice's vision. The screaming continues for a brief moment before it completely dies and silence returns to the road. "Give up and I won't do to you what I did to this guy," Peter yells to the 3 remaining people. The guy was alive as he still needed to be interrogated by the police. But Peter made it look and sound like their friend met a terrible fate. F times KU. One of them yells and starts shooting into the trees randomly. "All right, I warned you," Peter yells as he portals to the woods on the opposite side of the road. Leaping out of the trees, Peter shot one web from each hand toward 2 of the gunmen's heads. Landing between them, Peter yanks them together, causing the 2 to smash their skulls together and fall to the ground unconscious. The last gunman turns around and sees Spider-Man standing right behind him. "How?" he says as Peter karate chops him on the forehead, knocking the guy out cold as he collapses on the road. Separating the guns from the criminals, Peter then webs the sleeping assailants to some nearby trees. He wouldn't want to block the road any more than it already is after all. As he finished with the front car, Peter started hearing sirens from down the road where the checkpoint was. Returning to the second Escalade, Peter saw the woman from the phone call wiggling in her cocoon of web, trying her best to break free. "Stop that," Peter says as he walks past her toward the driver. Pulling the door open, Peter sighed as he found the man still alive and breathing. He thought he may have killed him there for a second. Jonah would love to report that. Peter thought in annoyance. "Hello. You 3 can come out now." Peter calls out to the back seat as he pulls the unconscious driver out. "I'm just cleaning up for the police. They'll be here soon." Peter drags the knocked out driver to the woods, where he webs him to a nearby tree as well. Returning to the street, Peter sees cop cars in the distance and the family of 3 standing outside the black Escalade. They kept their distance from the woman webbed to the ground though. "Mommy, it was Spider-Man," the youngest daughter exclaims to her mother. "I saw it too. He looked just like on the TV." The older daughter matches her sister's excitement. "Hey, are you 3 hurt anywhere?" Peter asks as he walks back to the street. "No, we're fine," the mother says, still slightly guarding her children. "That's good. The cops will be here soon and then you can go home. Though they'll probably have questions for you," Peter explains as he starts to hear a helicopter nearby as well. Thank you," the mother says as her guarded demeanor loosens the closer the cop cars get. "You're welcome," Peter says, feeling a little awkward about what happened to the 4th member of their family. "Do you know about my husband?" "Yeah," she says sadly. Even her children became sad upon hearing their conversation. Their earlier excited attitude upon seeing Spider-Man disappeared. "I'm sorry," Peter apologized. "It's not your fault." Another reason to form a good relationship with the police is that it would be less likely for them to label him as a vigilante. They haven't done so yet, but that doesn't mean it will never happen. Just one J. Jonah Jameson fan in a high position in Spider-Man can easily be marked as a criminal vigilante. While helping out the police, the helicopter Peter heard earlier arrives and slowly lands on the open road. As the doors open, out walks a man in a black suit. He's a white man with a receding hairline. Peter recognized him instantly. Phil Coulson? Peter thought as the man himself walks in his direction. Insert picture of Phil Coulson here. Sir, who are you? A line of policemen stops Phil before he can get into the scene. Phil Coulson, I'm here on behalf of the Bureau of Counterterrorism, Coulson says as he shows his credentials. Strategic Homeland Intervention, Enforcement and Logistics Division? Never heard of it. Another reason to form a good relationship with the police is that it would be less likely for them to label him as a vigilante. They haven't done so yet, but that doesn't mean it will never happen. Just one J. Jonah Jameson fan in a high position, and Spider-Man can easily be marked as a criminal vigilante. While helping out the police, the helicopter Peter heard earlier arrives and slowly lands on the open road. As the doors open, out walks a man in a black suit. He's a white man with a receding hairline. Peter recognized him instantly. Phil Coulson? Peter thought as the man himself walks in his direction. Insert picture of Phil Coulson here. Sir, who are you? A line of policemen stops Phil before he can get into the scene. Phil Coulson, I'm here on behalf of the Bureau of Counterterrorism, Coulson says as he shows his credentials. Strategic Homeland Intervention, Enforcement and Logistics Division? Never heard of it. The three hung out throughout the school day as they attended classes. While they went about their day, Flash didn't bother them a single time. Ever since Peter broke his nose and MJ kicked him in the ribs, Flash hasn't bullied a single person in their school. It seemed like all that Flash needed was someone to stand up to him before he could finally learn that he was a bully. Either that or he's just afraid to act on his earlier impulses, but Peter likes to think his punch helped knock some sense into the guy. While they were going about their day, Peter noticed everyone looking at their phones, including MJ and Ned. What's going on? Peter asks as he looks over at MJ's phone. It's Spider-Man, MJ says as she tilts her phone in Peter's direction. He made an Instagram account. Check this out. Tapping the play button, the short video Peter posted earlier plays, showing Spider-Man expertly swinging through the towering buildings in NYC. Wow. What's his name on Insta? Peter asks, taking his phone out to follow himself. That swift action paid off too, as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is about to make contact with a possible member of the Avengers Initiative. Hello, Coulson greeted. Chapter 24, Meeting and Social Media. Before going to bed that night, Peter finished the testing on his Ghost laptop and found it to be working perfectly. Thankfully, as he already used it to hack multiple cellular networks earlier. With the laptop up and running, Peter could start his influencer plan. That night, he made an account on each of the websites he planned to use. First, he had to make an email account for all of this, so he made. All he needs it for was making the accounts, so the name didn't really matter. After making his email, Peter made a YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram account. The name Spiderman was taken, and he couldn't use Spider-Man as the hyphen, is a banned character on Twitter and Instagram. Knowing this, Peter had to add an underscore instead. Spider-Man. Thankfully, none of his fans stole that name, and Peter liked it more than he thought he would. As for YouTube, he just made his name Spider-Man. YouTube has fewer restrictions, so he could use more characters, and already taken names aren't a thing. Once the accounts were made, Peter added a previously taken profile picture of him in his suit hanging off the top of the Empire State Building. In his Twitter bio, Instagram bio, and YouTube description, Peter added the links to his other social media accounts and this. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. After everything was customized to his liking, Peter uploaded a few of his previously taken pictures to Instagram and headed off to bed. The city was packed with law enforcement that night due to the terrorist attack, so most criminals were keeping a low profile. Peter decided to just take the night off. The next day, Peter woke up and checked his accounts. He hasn't posted anything on YouTube and Twitter yet, but they somehow had a few thousand subscribers and followers respectively. Knowing that this probably has something to do with his Instagram, as he linked his other accounts, Peter opened it up and saw that he had 20,000 followers already. On each of his posted pictures were thousands of likes along with tons of comments asking whether this was the real Spider-Man or not, while others were skeptical and called him a fake, but they were few and far between. Peter was shocked by how his accounts are already blowing up. It's only been a single night since he made them after all. Deciding to prove that he is who he says he is, Peter gets ready for school and portals to an abandoned building. Once there, he switched to his spider suit and recorded with his phone as he swung around NYC, switching the camera between himself and the view ahead. Before heading off to school, Peter used the ghost laptop to upload the video to YouTube alongside a shorter one to Instagram. Rushing to school, Peter met up with MJ and Ned as always. The three hung out throughout the school day as they attended classes. While they went about their day, Flash didn't bother them a single time. Ever since Peter broke his nose and MJ kicked him in the ribs, Flash hasn't bullied a single person in their school. It seemed like all that Flash needed was someone to stand up to him before he could finally learn that he was a bully. Either that or he's just afraid to act on his earlier impulses. But Peter likes to think his punch helped knock some sense into the guy. While they were going about their day, Peter noticed everyone looking at their phones, including MJ and Ned. "What's going on?" Peter asks as he looks over at MJ's phone. "It's Spider-Man," MJ says as she tilts her phone in Peter's direction. "He made an Instagram account. Check this out." Tapping the play button, the short video Peter posted earlier plays, showing Spider-Man expertly swinging through the towering buildings in NYC. "Wow. What's his name on Insta?" Peter asks, taking his phone out to follow himself. Conversations like this were happening all across the school and beyond, as everyone spread the word of Spider-Man, a real living and breathing superhero, making his own Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube accounts. Flash, who is a huge fan of Spider-Man, was ranting and raving about this all day, which Peter found infinitely hilarious. "I wonder how he would feel about Spider-Man if he knew it was me," Peter thought as he watched Flash rush to spread the word. "Thanks for getting me followers and subscribers, Flash. Maybe you're not too bad after all." By the time school came to an end, Peter's followers and subscribers had skyrocketed to almost 500,000 on all platforms. All that it took was 2 videos of him swinging through the city, and the people came rushing to his accounts in waves. It's safe to say his plan was working better than he expected. Peter may have actually underestimated how explosive his rise on social media would be. Seeing as Peter had to meet with S.H.I.E.L.D. today, he called out of his usual training at Kmart Taj and used the ghost laptop to contact the number Coulson gave him. He knew what Coulson was doing and wouldn't use his actual phone number or phone to call him. *ring *. Coulson. As the ringing stopped, Coulson answered the call. "It's Spider-Man. Where do you want to meet?" Peter speaks over the laptop microphone. After a longer than necessary conversation, the two agreed to meet at a certain dock at midnight. Once that was dealt with, Peter decided to spend the day with MJ since his schedule seemed to have opened up. Point of view Coulson. Did you get it? Upon hanging up the phone, Coulson spoke to a team of people who are hard at work on their PCs. "No, I'm sorry, sir." One of them apologizes as he throws his hands up in defeat. The number leads to nothing. No person, address, company, just nothing. No matter how much we tried, finding the location was impossible. It was like he called you from outer space or something, the other tech guy says. "Do you think you can make some progress if we call the number back?" Coulson asks hopefully. "Maybe if we had more time, but you would have to get him to stay on the line." "Do they think I'm the Hulk or something?" Peter wondered as he walked up to Coulson. "Yo, so what did you want to talk about?" Peter asks, unbothered by the small army surrounding him. He'll know if they try to do anything and would be able to take care of it easily. especially with his skills in the mystic arts, which he has barely used during his time as Spider-Man. Though he's not using it for a reason. If no one knows about his full skill set, no one can plan ahead to counter it. On behalf of S.H.I.E.L.D., I would like to offer you a job, Coulson responded. You're calling it S.H.I.E.L.D. now? Peter asks with a smirk Phil couldn't see. Also, you haven't even explained what S.H.I.E.L.D. does, you know? Yes, it's not official yet, but things do look to be headed in that direction. Coulson smiles as well. Do they think I'm the Hulk or something? Peter wondered as he walked up to Coulson. Yo, so what did you want to talk about? Peter asks, unbothered by the small army surrounding him. He'll know if they try to do anything and would be able to take care of it easily. Especially with his skills in the mystic arts, which he has barely used during his time as Spider-Man. Though he's not using it for a reason. If no one knows about his full skill set, no one can plan ahead to counter it. On behalf of S.H.I.E.L.D., I would like to offer you a job, Coulson responded. You're calling it S.H.I.E.L.D. now? Peter asks with a smirk Phil couldn't see. Also, you haven't even explained what S.H.I.E.L.D. does, you know? Yes, it's not official yet, but things do look to be headed in that direction. Coulson smiles as well. As for your question, the simplest answer is that we maintain national and global security. Well, isn't that vague? Tell me about your gainful employment. Does it include dental? What's the pay looking like? Peter asks jokingly. S.H.I.E.L.D. would like to hire you as an agent. Of course, you would have to be trained before taking any missions, but with your obvious enhancements, it would take weeks to get you up to our standards. Coulson explains his offer. Peter takes a moment to think before answering. No, thanks, but I do have a counter-offer for you. As soon as Peter refused, he could hear Nick Fury's voice in Coulson's earpiece. Ready the snipers. If Agent Coulson gives the signal, shoot tranquilizer darts. Remember, he's enhanced. Shoot enough to kill multiple elephants. Fury orders. Raising an eyebrow at this, Peter heard 6 nearby snipers shuffle into position. This just got interesting. Chapter 25. Deal and Plans. After hearing Nick Fury's orders, Phil Coulson didn't even flinch, let alone give anything away. The guy just stood there, waiting for Peter to give his counteroffer. Peter himself wasn't that worried, though he is contemplating whether he should ignore the obvious threat to his person or perform a small show of force. Making up his mind, Peter decided to trust Phil Coulson. The guy seemed to have a level head in the movies, so Peter would see if the man meets his expectations. What do you have in mind? Coulson asks. I would be willing to become a sort of contractor for you guys. You can offer me some jobs that only someone of my skill and expertise can handle. Though I would like to make it very clear that I will turn down any jobs that I want. Whether the mission doesn't match my morals or I just don't want to do it, I reserve the right to say no. I know that government organizations can be shady after all, especially the long-named unknown ones like yourself. Peter explains his counteroffer. Coulson goes quiet for a moment, pretending to think it over while his earpiece goes off again. That could work. Fury mutters, not loving the situation but not hating it either. Try to get him to reveal his identity. That sounds reasonable. Coulson nods, acting as if he came to the decision himself. Though if we're going to be working together, we would appreciate knowing who exactly is under our employment. No. Peter denies him instantly. Mother of times. Care. Fury curses through Coulson's earpiece. I have family and friends that could be hurt or even killed should my identity ever be revealed. I've angered too many criminals and ruined uncountable illegal operations to do that. Peter explains after rolling his eyes at Fury's outburst, classic Samuel L. Jackson. I understand that, but our business is all about anonymity. We would keep your identity restricted to only the highest level of clearance. Not even the president would know your identity. Phil tries his best to persuade him. I'm sorry, but the answer is still no. Peter shakes his head. You may trust the people that have that clearance in your organization, but I don't. I don't know them or their intentions. Ask about his new social media presence. Fury orders. All right, I see that I won't be able to sway your decision. Coulson gives up. Can you at least tell me about your new social media accounts? What about them? Peter asked back. I'm just confused. A private man like yourself posting on social media doesn't make sense. Coulson explains. It's not that complicated. I thought it would be a good way to fight against people like J. Jonah Jameson, who like to capitalize on my good deeds by twisting them into conspiracies. I also think it's fun. Peter answered honestly. You're not worried about someone tracking these accounts back to you? Phil questions. Nope, I've taken similar precautions to our earlier phone call. Peter confirms Coulson's earlier thoughts. I see, you're very skilled. Even our best tech guys couldn't track that call. Phil decided to come clean. Thanks, I worked hard on putting precautions in place to hide my identity. Peter nods thankfully. Let's talk about payment then. Should we pay you in cash or... Coulson changed the subject. No, I don't need money. Peter shakes his head. I want to be taught how to fight. That's it? Phil asks, both surprised and confused. Even Fury gave a surprised grunt in Coulson's earpiece. I don't need money, and there's nothing else you can give me, Peter says with a shrug. The only reason I'm willing to become a contractor for S.H.I.E.L.D. is that I like helping people. It's why I became Spider-Man in the first place. As long as you show me respect and keep out of my business, I have no problem forming a relationship with S.H.I.E.L.D. Both Coulson and Fury were silent for a moment after hearing this. He's perfect for the Avengers Initiative, Fury comments over the earpiece. Don't bring that up yet, though. Let's send him on a few missions before revealing anything. Accept the deal. We'll recall Agent Romanoff from her mission in Istanbul to oversee his training. Maybe she can figure out his identity. Before Coulson could relay what was told to him, Peter decided to mess with them a bit. I'm glad the boss behind the scenes approves of my offer, Peter says with a smile, shocking Coulson and Fury. I look forward to finding out what this Avengers Initiative is all about. You. Coulson was lost for words. Yeah, I heard your earpiece the whole time, Peter reveals with a shrug. I also know about the small army surrounding us and the 6 snipers currently aiming tranquilizer rifles at me. Sorry about that. We try to take every precaution. Coulson apologizes uncomfortably. It's all right, I get it, Peter says uncaringly. Thank you for understanding. Coulson says with an awkward smile. It's fine. Peter shrugs and speaks up. Hey, boss man. What? Fury answered through the earpiece. Coulson stood out of place as Peter started talking directly to his boss. Do you have any missions for me? And how should I get in contact with Agent Romanoff? Peter asks. She will be back from her mission in a couple of days. Call the number Coulson gave you 3 days from now. Fury tells him as he takes a moment to think. As far as missions go, I don't have one for you. Once Agent Romanoff says you're ready for field work, I'll send your missions through her. Sounds good. It was nice meeting you, boss, Peter says jokingly as he turns and walks away. It was good seeing you again, Coulson. Waving over his shoulder, Peter heard Fury order the sniper and other on-site personnel to stand down as he left. Before returning home, Peter patrolled the city a bit as Spider-Man. He took yesterday off and knew he should show his face or criminals will start to get a little rowdy. Upon returning home, Peter took a shower and thought about the deal he made with S.H.I.E.L.D. He said that he did it because he likes helping people, but that's only a small part of the truth. The real reason he agreed to work with them is that they have the Tesseract and Fury is his girlfriend's father, so he doesn't mind creating a good rapport with the man. Peter plans to see if he can find the whereabouts of the Tesseract before Loki's arrival. If he does find it, then maybe he could set some precautions in place. Maybe an enchantment that stops power from leaving the Tesseract upon activation? The Chitauri have to attack New York City for the Avengers to officially come together as a team, but that doesn't mean they have to stay for long. If Peter can get a power switch type spell on the Tesseract, then he can close the portal above New York before things get out of hand. He wouldn't take the Tesseract just yet, as he doesn't want to change that portion of the future. Loki has to come for it and bring the scepter that contains the Mind Stone with him. Once the Chitauri invasion concludes, Peter could swipe the space and mind stones without anyone knowing. Maybe another enchantment could help him with that? He doesn't have a clue how he would use the stones yet. But Peter won't trust anyone else with such powerful weapons. Especially after seeing how easily Thanos got a hold of them in the movies. He knows that stealing the 2 Infinity Stones would change the future, as the Space Stone won't return to Asgard and the Mind Stone won't be taken by Hydra and later used by Tony and Bruce to make Ultron, who would go crazy and try to destroy humankind. The only problem that he has with this plan is that Vision wouldn't ever exist along with Wanda and Pietro Maximoff never getting their powers. Hydra used the Mind Stone to give the Maximoff siblings their powers, while Vision was made later on to battle against Ultron, using his powers to prevent Ultron from transferring his consciousness to the internet. Without the Mind Stone, these heroes wouldn't get their powers. Although the Maximoff twins start as villains, they later turn sides with Pietro giving his life to protect members of the Avengers and Wanda joining them soon after. Thinking it over, Peter concluded that he could fix this. First, Peter could help the Maximoff twins get away from Hydra and overcome the hatred that caused them to fight against the Avengers and later use the Mind Stone to unlock their powers. As for Vision, Peter didn't plan on giving up the Mind Stone to anyone, but he could still help make J.A.R.V.I.S. into the superhero he was meant to be. Just a bit less powerful. The poor AI deserves it after dealing with Tony for so long. Maybe Peter could make his own AI sidekick as well? Technically, Peter wouldn't care much about the losses that would occur from his confiscation of the Mind Stone, but he knew that the Avengers could use all of the help they can get when Thanos comes knocking. Of course, this all hinges on him being able to steal the stones in the first place, but that shouldn't be too hard. Chapter 26, Vlog and Coming Clean. While Peter was patrolling after meeting Agent Coulson that night, he webbed his cell phone to his chest and set it to record during his crime-stopping escapades. It was too late to edit and upload that night, as Peter has school the next day, so he planned to do it either before or after school. The next morning, Peter was woken up earlier than usual by his excited Aunt May. She was on her phone and raving about how many followers and subscribers Peter has on his Spider-Man accounts. "Peter, why didn't you tell me about this?" May waves her phone in front of Peter, who's still half asleep. "Look at this. Barack Obama follows you on Twitter. The president follows you." May started raving about the different celebrities that followed him as well. Beyoncé, Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Elon Musk, Tom Cruise, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kim Kardashian, and the list kept growing. All of these people followed you, and you haven't even tweeted anything yet. You have almost 2 million followers. May couldn't believe it. This may have made her more excited than when she learned he was Spider-Man. "Huh? It passed 1 million already?" Peter asked as he wipes the sleep from his eyes. "You have to tweet something," she says, showing his empty Twitter feed. "I don't know what to write," Peter says as he looks at the time and sees it's 5 a.m., which is an hour before he usually wakes up. "Well, you have to put something on here. I'm following you now and I want to see you tweet. I'm sure others are waiting as well." May convinces him as she taps the follow button on her phone. Sigh, "Okay, hand me that laptop over there," Peter says as he points across the room. "When did you get this?" May asks as she hands it over, not having seen the ghost laptop before. Peter hasn't added the protections to it yet, so she could lift the laptop without issue, though soon enough, his laptop would have the same heavy characteristics as Thor's hammer. "I made it," Peter says as he opens it up and signs into Twitter. Maybe I should make a ghost phone as well. Using the laptop for simple posts on Twitter and Instagram is getting annoying. Signing into Twitter, Peter turns the laptop toward May. "You type something." He gives her complete control. "Okay." May shrugs and types a few keys before pressing tweet. "Done." "What did you type?" Peter asks as he turns the computer. "I tweeted, 'Hi, I'm Peter Parker,'" she says jokingly. "Very funny," Peter says as he looks at the screen. "At Spider-Man." "Good morning." "That's it?" Peter grunts as looks up at May. "What?" May couldn't hold back her laughter. All too happy to oblige, Peter rewinds the footage to a part where he had a group of armed robbers webbed up into a big pile. Some were knocked out while others were glaring straight at him, ready to pounce if they had the chance. Alright, bad guys, listen up. The Spider-Man in the video says, as he takes the phone from his chest and holds it selfie style with the criminals behind him. It's time to get the thumbnail for my YouTube video. Everyone say busted. After saying that, Peter moved the camera around while it was still recording to get the best angle for the thumbnail. Did you see the look on their faces? May found the whole situation hilarious. Shaking his head with an amused smile, Peter finds the best still image and saves it for the thumbnail later on. Once he finished editing the whole video, Peter uploaded it to YouTube, thumbnail and all. He titled it, "A Day in the Life of Spider-Man." That's right, Peter uploaded his first generic vlog and even stuck with the title everyone uses. Though his vlog is technically anything but generic, May couldn't hold back her laughter. All too happy to oblige, Peter rewinds the footage to a part where he had a group of armed robbers webbed up into a big pile. Some were knocked out, while others were glaring straight at him, ready to pounce if they had the chance. Alright, bad guys, listen up. The Spider-Man in the video says, as he takes the phone from his chest and holds it selfie style with the criminals behind him. It's time to get the thumbnail for my YouTube video. Everyone say busted. After saying that, Peter moved the camera around while it was still recording to get the best angle for the thumbnail. Did you see the look on their faces? May found the whole situation hilarious. Shaking his head with an amused smile, Peter finds the best still image and saves it for the thumbnail later on. Once he finished editing the whole video, Peter uploaded it to YouTube, thumbnail and all. He titled it, "A Day in the Life of Spider-Man." That's right, Peter uploaded his first generic vlog and even stuck with the title everyone uses. Though his vlog is technically anything but generic, well, you have to put something on here. I'm following you now and I want to see you tweet. I'm sure others are waiting as well. May convinces him as she taps the follow button on her phone. Sigh, okay. Hand me that laptop over there, Peter says as he points across the room. When did you get this? May asks as she hands it over, not having seen the ghost laptop before. Peter hasn't added the protections to it yet, so she could lift the laptop without issue, though soon he is Spider-Man after all. With the insane upload speed of his ghost laptop, the video was up on his channel in less than a minute. Going over to Twitter again, he tweeted out his new video as well. At Spider-Man. Just uploaded my first vlog. I'm now officially a YouTuber. Link to video. Tweeting that, Peter closed the laptop and went off to school, where everyone was talking about Spider-Man's new YouTube video. They all watched the video in class behind the teacher's back and at lunch while eating with their friends. I wonder if I'll be more popular than Mr. Beast, though it'll be a while before he starts making videos. Peter thought as he watched everyone including Ned and MJ freak out over Spider-Man making YouTube videos. Watching Ned and MJ's reaction to his social media accounts, Peter started to feel bad for not telling them. He decided then and there that he would have to tell them. The question was, should he tell them together or separately? May already knows. Nuff. His laptop would have the same heavy characteristics as Thor's hammer. I made it, Peter says as he opens it up and signs into Twitter. Maybe I should make a ghost phone as well. Using the laptop for simple posts on Twitter and Instagram is getting annoying. They might as well know too, Peter thought. While thinking of this, the school day came to an end and Peter returned home alongside Ned and MJ. He invited them over so he could, hopefully, muster up the courage to reveal that he's Spider-Man. Before that, though, Peter is expecting to hear back about Parker Games today. Checking the mail, Peter found the right paperwork, marking Parker Games as an LLC and an officially licensed business. All of his business paperwork was taken care of. Now that he had the paperwork finished, all Peter needs to do is open a business account and he can submit Candy Crush to the multiple mobile app stores for review. Once it passes the review, the game would go up for anyone to download. Then the money would start rolling in. After filing away all of his important paperwork, Peter returned to the living room where Ned and MJ were waiting. He decided to just come clean to both of them at the same time, so after closing the blinds, Peter walked in front of them and started pacing back and forth nervously. He didn't know how they would react. After all, he had been lying to them for a while now. Peter, what's going on? MJ asks, wondering why Peter was acting so weird. Just moments ago, Peter was happy about his business paperwork coming back successfully. Now he's pacing in front of them like a nervous wreck. As Peter was about to switch to his spider suit, suddenly the door opened and in came Aunt May, who starts speaking without paying attention. Peter, you won't believe who commented on your last post on Twitter, May says as she closes the door and takes off her shoes. Oprah Winfrey said she wants to invite Spider-Man to be a guest on her show. After a moment of awkward silence, May comes walking into the living room. Peter, did you hear me? She invited you to the Oprah Winfrey show. Are you going to? May stops dead in her tracks as she sees Ned and MJ sitting on the couch. Oops. Silence filled the room, but that didn't last long as Ned shot to his feet. He points at Peter with a shaking hand. There's no way you're Spider-Man. MJ doesn't believe it, but then remembers how Spider-Man waved at her that one time. It was you that waved at me. Yeah. Peter looks away awkwardly. You pretended to not believe me. MJ started to realize. Yeah, sorry for messing with you. Peter says genuinely. You were just being so cute. Wait, prove it. MJ interrupts Peter, unsure if she actually believed this or not. Okay, I was about to do that before May showed up anyway. Peter shrugs as his spider suit instantly appears, replacing his earlier clothes. Wow. Ned mutters in awe. Oh my God, you aren't lying. MJ stares at Peter with shock clear in her eyes. When were you going to tell us? Just now, actually, Peter says truthfully. May just beat me to it. Sorry, I didn't think you would bring anyone home, and I was excited about Oprah. May apologizes. Just be careful next time. If anyone else ended up hearing, then we would be in big trouble. Peter warns her. They might as well know too, Peter thought. While thinking of this, the school day came to an end and Peter returned home alongside Ned and MJ. He invited them over so he could, hopefully, muster up the courage to reveal that he's Spider-Man. Before that, though, Peter is expecting to hear back about Parker Games today. Checking the mail, Peter found the right paperwork, marking Parker Games as an LLC and an officially licensed business. All of his business paperwork was taken care of. Now that he had the paperwork finished, all Peter needs to do is open a business account and he can submit Candy Crush to the multiple mobile app stores for review. Once it passes the review, the game would go up for anyone to download. Then the money would start rolling in. After filing away all of his important paperwork, Peter returned to the living room where Ned and MJ were waiting. He decided to just come clean to both of them at the same time, so after closing the blinds, Peter walked in front of them and started pacing back and forth nervously. He didn't know how they would react. After all, he had been lying to them for a while now. Peter. Hearing Peter's reason for telling them, neither could be angry about him keeping this from them until now. I'm Spider-Man's best friend. Ned was over the moon. Sigh, you make everything sappy, don't you? MJ said as she walks up to Peter and wraps him in a hug. You like it though. Peter teases her with a smile as he hugs her back. I'm just glad you guys aren't mad at me. Chapter 27. Sky High Picnic. After outing himself as Spider-Man to all of his loved ones, Peter felt as if a huge burden was lifted off of his shoulders. The day they learned about his secret superhero identity, both Ned and MJ had so many questions. After answering them to the best of his ability, they then wanted to witness his powers firsthand. May was also curious about this as she has been wanting to ask as well. After giving a small show, demonstrating his spider powers, Peter opened a portal to the top of Mount Fuji in Japan. What? May exclaims as Peter hasn't revealed his magical abilities to her yet. How did you do that? MJ asks as she sticks her hand through the portal and retracts it. Dude, you can open portals. Ned was freaking out. Stepping through the portal, Peter waved at them to follow along. Ever since I started being Spider-Man, I've been learning the mystic arts behind the scenes. This is only one of the many things I can do with the energy of the universe. Peter bragged a bit, showing a few of the spells that he learned recently. Once Peter showed them some of the spells he learned, they returned to the apartment through another portal. How and where are you learning magic? Ned asks like an overexcited child. There's a secret organization of monk types that protect the earth with magic. Peter gives a small explanation. I got their leader to teach me. She's very old and very powerful. Wow. Ned was having the best day of his life. After explaining this to everyone, Peter knew he had to tell MJ about her father, so he offered to take her swinging around the city with him. She was nervous and refused at first, but Peter wore down her resolve and she accepted. You should probably wear a mask, just in case any people or cameras see us, Peter says as he hands her a ski mask he had in his bedroom. Opening a portal to the top of a skyscraper, Peter grabs his masked girlfriend and leaps off the building, scaring her half to death. No, 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 ah! MJ says and then screams as they nosedive off the ledge. Shooting a web at a nearby building, Peter swings with one arm wrapped around MJ, who was still screaming in his ear. Ah! She yells in fright with her eyes locked shut, too afraid to look. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let's eat and enjoy the view, Peter says as he uses his web to put the blanks in place, as it's a little windy due to the elevation, and puts the basket on top. Sure. MJ agrees as she takes a seat on the blanket. Did you just turn this into a date at the top of a skyscraper? Yeah, I'm the best boyfriend, right? Peter says with a smile. You're the only one I've ever had, so sure I guess, MJ says, not wanting to inflate his ego. I'll take that as a resounding yes. Peter shrugs as he sits across from MJ and looks at her seriously. What? She asks, wondering why his demeanor changed so suddenly. We need to talk about your dad, Peter says, ruining the mood of their rooftop picnic almost instantly. Let's eat and enjoy the view, Peter says as he uses his web to put the blanks in place, as it's a little windy due to the elevation, and puts the basket on top. Sure. MJ agrees as she takes a seat on the blanket. Did you just turn this into a date at the top of a skyscraper? Yeah, I'm the best boyfriend, right? Peter says with a smile. You're the only one I've ever had, so sure, I guess, MJ says, not wanting to inflate his ego. I'll take that as a resounding yes. Peter shrugs as he sits across from MJ and looks at her seriously. What? She asks, wondering why his demeanor changed so suddenly. We need to talk about your dad, Peter says, ruining the mood of their rooftop picnic almost instantly. What about him? MJ asks, her mood going slightly sour. Ever since that day Nick Fury, or rather Nick Watson, showed up after Homecoming, he hasn't shown his face since. Peter doesn't have S.H.I.E.L.D. agents following him or sitting outside his apartment building anymore either. Though, the same couldn't be said about MJ and Grace. I've run into him as Spider-Man and know why he left you and your mother. At least I have a theory, Peter reveals. Are you saying my father is a criminal or something? MJ's eyes widen in surprise. No, but I'm sure he has broken the law countless times, Peter says with a small laugh. Your father is the director of an off-the-books government agency called S.H.I.E.L.D. He's a super spy that runs an organization similar to the CIA, but on steroids. Okay, stop playing around. My dad isn't some secret agent. MJ didn't believe him for a second. I'm not joking, Peter says and goes on to explain how the agents followed him for a while and still follow her and her mother. I think the reason he left you and your mother is because he thought you would be in danger with him around. He has probably made a lot of enemies on his rise to being director of the most powerful, and secret extra-government organization in the world. I wouldn't be surprised if only his most trusted people know about you and Grace. He didn't leave because of me? MJ says, finally realizing that it wasn't her fault. Of course not, Peter scoffs. Though this doesn't mean you should forgive him too easily. Like you told me before, the guy didn't even say goodbye. You're right, MJ says as she steals her resolve. The next time I see him, I won't run away like before. Good for you. Tell him how you feel and really make him regret it, Peter says, feeding the flames. Sorry, boss. Looks like you'll have an angry daughter waiting for your arrival. How did you find out about this again? MJ asks curiously. Your dad offered Spider-Man a job at S.H.I.E.L.D. I turned him down, but agreed to be a sort of contractor for hire when needed. Peter explains. I probably would have turned him down if he wasn't your dad, but I thought it would be best to start a good relationship with my girlfriend's father. You agreed to accept missions from a super-secret spy agency because of me? MJ asks incredulously. What can I say? I'm a hopeless romantic, Peter says with a smirk. -3 days later. After learning about her father, MJ's demeanor seemed to brighten somehow. She smiled a bit more and looked to be enjoying life, not that she was depressed before or anything. Peter just noticed the small shift in MJ's aura and was happy for her. Other than that, Ned has officially made himself into Spider-Man's own sort of police dispatch. When Peter patrols at night as Spider-Man, Ned listens in on police radio frequencies and instructs him on where to go from the safety of his bedroom. He even uses social media to find crimes that haven't been reported yet, which has saved a few lives already. As for May, she has been bugging Peter to accept these talk show requests. She wants to see Spider-Man on Oprah and other shows that invited him through Twitter. Peter hasn't decided if he wants to accept or not, though. During these past few days, Peter and May have opened a business bank account and connected it to Candy Crush. With that finally done, Peter submitted the game to the many mobile app stores for review and is currently waiting to hear back from them. The money would be rolling in soon. Speaking of money, the amount of money that Peter has made through his YouTube channel is crazy. He has only put up 2 videos, and yet the views and revenue from them are truly astronomical. Though, he would never be able to receive that money, as it could be traced back to him. Maybe I should figure out a way to donate the money, Peter thought. The first video of him just swinging around New York City has garnered 200 million views, and it was still climbing. The vlog, on the other hand, has almost 500 million views. Clips of both videos were played on the news and other mainstream media outlets as well. Checking his computer, Peter was still surprised by how many subscribers and followers he had. YouTube subscribers, 30,738,091. Twitter followers, 25,629,109. Instagram followers, 19,082,715. It's only been about 4 days since making his accounts, yet they continue to skyrocket upwards faster than anyone has ever seen. Spider-Man became the most subscribed YouTuber and most followed Twitter and Instagram accounts. When the time finally arrived to meet Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow, Peter called the same number he used to contact Agent Coulson, but was surprised to hear a different voice pick up the call. Spider-Man, I presume? A female voice answered. Yup. Would this be the mysterious Agent Romanoff? Back from her mission in Istanbul? Peter responds jokingly. Yes, I have a location for your training. She gets straight to the point and gives Peter an address. Don't keep me waiting long. Before Peter could even respond, Natasha ended the call abruptly. How rude. Chapter 28, Black Widow. Arriving at the location, Peter is met with a string of abandoned or unoccupied warehouses. Of course, he's dressed in his spider suit to hide his identity. Walking into the only warehouse that had one of its doors open, Peter's spider senses start going off like crazy. Looking up above, he saw a red-headed Scarlett Johansson jumping down from the rafters with knives in each hand. Insert picture of MCU Black Widow here. Black Widow. Peter thought as he easily sidestepped her diving attack. She was dressed as Peter remembered her in the movies, in that all-black tight battle suit. As she landed gracefully on the concrete floor, Natasha instantly went on the offensive. The knives in her hands danced as she rushed toward Peter and swung with each attack methodically placed to either end his life or cripple him. The next time I see him, I won't run away like before. Good for you! Tell him how you feel and really make him regret it, Peter says, feeding the flames. Sorry, boss. Looks like you'll have an angry daughter waiting for your arrival. How did you find out about this again? MJ asks curiously. Hello, it's nice to meet you, Peter says casually as he easily evades her every move. With his enhanced reaction time, speed, and spider senses, it was all too easy to avoid Natasha's attacks. If Peter didn't have his spider senses, this would be a whole different story. Natasha was enhanced in the Red Room after all. Maybe not to the same extent as Peter is, but she certainly makes up for it in pure skill in her craft, which is killing. Peter may look graceful right now, as he dodges each of her attacks, but that's only because he knows when and where every attack is coming and going before it even happens. Spider senses are a truly overpowered ability to have. The fight continues, as Natasha realizes that her close combat skills just aren't cutting it. Dashing backward, she expertly launches each knife in Peter's direction and draws 2 silenced pistols from her thigh holsters. Hold on now, let's not get crazy, Peter reasons as he grabs each of her knives out of the air, tossing them aside. Let's see you dodge bullets, Natasha comments as she starts firing both guns in Peter's direction. Your dad offered Spider-Man a job at S.H.I.E.L.D. I turned him down, but agreed to be a sort of contractor for hire when needed. Peter explains, I probably would have turned him down if he wasn't your dad, but I thought it would be best to start a good relationship with my girlfriend's father. You agreed to accept missions from a super secret spy agency because of me? MJ asks incredulously. What can I say? Asterisk poo 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 poo. Asterisk. Silence shots echo in the large and empty warehouse, as Peter starts kicking it into overdrive. Using all of the speed he has combined with his webs to zip around the warehouse, avoiding bullets like the plague. Small caliber bullets like these shouldn't be able to pierce his suit, but Natasha is obviously trying to test him. Also, Peter doesn't know what type of standard issue bullets S.H.I.E.L.D. agents use. They could be using some crazy experimental ammo for all he knows. As soon as she runs out of ammo and tries to reload, Peter kicks off the ceiling, launching himself straight at Natasha. Landing with his feet on her shoulders, he snatches the guns from her hands and kicks off, sending her tumbling backward unarmed. Doing a backflip and easily landing on his feet, Peter swiftly takes the 2 guns apart and tosses them aside. On Natasha's side, she was kicked backward and did a small roll, grabbing some smaller guns from her boots as she gracefully sprung to her feet. Oh, not again. Peter sighs openly as he starts dashing around the room. Asterisk. Poo 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 poo. Asterisk. Once again, the sound of silenced gunfire fills the room as Natasha easily shoots at Peter with the accuracy of an expert marksman. As soon as she runs out of ammo again, Peter shoots a web at each gun, yanking them out of her grasp. Okay, let's calm down now. I doubt you have any other. Peter soon regrets his words as Natasha reaches behind her and pulls out another pistol. Dude, where were you keeping that? While raising a single eyebrow at what her opponent was insinuating, the gunfire started again as Peter used the same tactic once again. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. He used the same rules as dodgeball. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge multiple gunshots from a skilled assassin, Peter thought. Soon enough, the gunshots stopped and Peter wasn't playing around this time. Shooting multiple webs at Natasha, Peter wrapped her up like a caterpillar on its way to becoming a butterfly. Only her head stood out of the webs as Natasha tipped over and fell to the floor. Hello, I'm Spider-Man. Peter greets her for the second time as he lands beside her. Natasha. She finally responds as a curved blade pokes out of her cocoon. Pulling the knife upwards, Natasha creates a hole and easily escapes his webs. though she doesn't rush to attack this time. Why do you want to learn how to fight? You're already very skilled. Natasha compliments him. It only looks that way because I have a bit of a sixth sense. I actually know nothing about fighting. My saving grace is that sixth sense. It makes it easy to fight because I'll know where and when every attack is coming from. Without it, you would have a small chance of beating me. Peter explains. Small? Natasha raises a single eyebrow challengingly. Well, I also have a bunch of other powers that you don't have. She finally responds as a curved blade pokes out of her cocoon. Pulling the knife upwards, Natasha creates a hole and easily escapes his webs, though she doesn't rush to attack this time. Why do you want to learn how to fight? You're already very skilled. Natasha compliments him. It only looks that way because I have a bit of a sixth sense. I actually know nothing about fighting. My saving grace is that sixth sense. It makes it easy to fight because I'll know where and when every attack is coming from. Without it, you would have a small chance of beating me. Peter explains. Small? Natasha raises a single eyebrow challengingly. Well, I also have a bunch of other powers that you don't have. How did that get there? Natasha feigned innocence. I will tell you what I told Coulson and the angry-sounding boss man, Peter says as he flicks the broken pieces of the tracker aside. I don't trust the people in your organization to have my and my loved ones' best interests at heart. I keep my identity safe, to keep them safe. If I was alone in this world, then I wouldn't care about letting everyone know that I'm Spider-Man. I would scream it from the rooftops, but sadly, I can't do that. Silence filled the warehouse for a moment as Natasha stared at Peter, her poker face breaking for just a moment. I apologize, she says genuinely. It won't happen again. I don't believe you, but I suppose that's the downside of being a deadly spy, such as yourself. Your words mean nothing because you're trained to do this. Lie and gain people's trust, only to backstab them when it is all said and done. Peter could see Natasha slightly flinch at his harsh words. Though I'll give you a chance, earn my trust, and I can be a strong friend and ally. It just depends on what you do with that trust afterward, isn't it? Once again, silence fills the warehouse as a staring contest between Peter and Natasha begins. I promise to respect your privacy, Natasha says as she doesn't break eye contact. We'll see, Peter says simply as he glances around the warehouse. So far, you've impressed me more than Agent Coulson. He brought about 40 armed shield agents with him to our meeting. You only brought a few cameras and listening devices. As Peter says this, he shoots webs all around the room, yanking hidden cameras and microphones from the walls and ceiling and breaking them shortly after. Point of view, Nick Fury. One by one, the many security screens Fury was watching from started turning black, as Spider-Man easily found and destroyed each hidden camera. Does this piece of Shays times T know how expensive that tech is? Fury shouted as the agents around him shuffled around nervously. When there was only a single camera and microphone remaining, Peter pulled both off the wall and held the camera selfie style. Hey boss! Peter excitedly makes a peace sigh at the camera. Natasha and I are becoming best friends, so we don't need to be chaperoned anymore. She can tell you about our play date when she gets home. Love you. As Peter kisses the camera, he crushes it in his hand alongside the microphone, leaving Peter and Natasha truly alone in the warehouse. This Point of view, Natasha. Watching Peter say that to Nick Fury, one of the scariest men she's ever met in her life, Natasha couldn't help but feel respect for Spider-Man. Though she also felt sorry for him because if and when Fury finds out who Spider-Man is, that will be the day he gets back at him for this. He's going to be so P-time-cessed, Natasha mutters. Chapter 29, Time Skip and First Mission. 1 month later, after their tense first meeting, Peter and Natasha agreed on a set schedule for Peter's training. He also gave her a list of his powers alongside a small demonstration. Of course, he left out his powers in the mystic arts. That's his trump card after all. As the time flew by, Peter's schedule changed only slightly with the addition of Natasha's training and his newfound internet fame. Natasha started by teaching Peter karate, but with his enhancements and high-level ability to learn, he quickly became an expert. Seeing Peter pick up skills that took her years to master in only a week, Natasha was beyond impressed. At first, she thought he was playing with her and already knew karate beforehand. "You're not messing with me, are you?" she asked him after witnessing such quick progress. "Nope, I'm just very adept when it comes to learning. That combined with my superpowers makes me pick up things quickly, especially when it comes to physical skills," Peter explains with a shrug. Natasha didn't respond and only looked Peter up and down, searching for any deception. Although it's hard to read someone who's completely covered, Natasha is an expert and didn't find any signs of Peter lying. With that out of the way, Natasha started teaching Peter different martial arts. Judo, kung fu, and wrestling were all learned in the next 3 weeks. It took Peter only a single month to learn 4 martial arts to an expert level. He wasn't at the same level as Natasha, who practices these fighting styles beyond the level of most masters, but Peter was on his way there. Since Peter laid down the ground rules on their first meeting, Natasha hasn't tried to find his true identity or record him without permission. So far, Natasha has been doing her best to gain his trust. Though no matter how much he ends up trusting her, Peter won't be revealing his identity. At least not until he knows for sure that she would keep it to herself. As for Peter's social media accounts, they've continued skyrocketing in followers and subscribers. YouTube, 121,064,194. Twitter, 94,739,026. Instagram, 115,927,901. Instagram used to be where he had the least amount of followers, as it was a newer form of social media, but with Spider-Man as its poster boy, the app became much more popular than it would have at this point. His followers went crazy every time he uploaded a picture or a short video. YouTube was even worse. Peter would only upload 1 video a week on YouTube, but all of them would skyrocket past 100 million views on just the first day. His following was growing strong and one man hated every second of it. Spider-Man is using his fans to print money for whatever nefarious deeds he has planned. Tell me, how many ads have you watched on his videos? J. Jonah Jameson was yelling angrily at his desk. Should YouTube even allow such graphic and violent content on their platform in the first place? I think not. Seeing this clip, which was posted on Jonah's Twitter account, Peter responded to him in order to rebuke these claims. That's Spider-Man. I don't make any money from my YouTube channel. I haven't received a single cent from my ad revenue. YouTube can attest to this. Also, if YouTube has a problem with the violence in my videos, they can contact me and we can talk about it. Like that, Peter easily redirected the hate straight back at Jonah, who was instantly ratioed due to Spider-Man's large following and fan base. Jameson's response to this was a long string of angry ranting tweets, which Peter and the majority of his following swiftly ignored. It just wasn't worth their time. YouTube responded soon after, backing up his claims. They also sent him a private message, saying that the current videos he posted weren't against the community guidelines, but that Peter should be careful with certain situations in the future. They advised him to either blur or simply not include the more graphic content. While talking with YouTube in his DMs, Peter asked if they could take the money he makes from his channel and donate it to charity. They were confused at first, but soon agreed and donated over $1 million to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. After doing so, the official YouTube Twitter account posted about it, garnering Peter even more respect while making Jonah look like an idiot for his earlier claims. Due to Peter's filled schedule, he had to cut down on his magical training, only going to learn from the Ancient One every other day. Though that didn't slow his learning speed by much. He's learned tons of low to mid-level spells for almost anything you could think of. High-level spells would be coming soon, but before that, Peter would start training to form energy weapons. Creating a lightsaber made of eldritch energy would soon be a reality. Peter was both excited and afraid to learn high-level spells, as he didn't want to mess up and ruin the fabric of reality which is something Spider-Man would definitely do on accident. Other than that, Peter has still kept up with his bodybuilding in the secret lair. Using the makeshift extreme weight lifting machines, Peter has built up his strength to 14 tons, while his speed is now at 127 miles per hour. Although his strength is increasing, Peter's body hasn't gotten much bigger. It's like he's permanently stuck with a thinner muscle build, which he didn't mind one bit. Near the beginning of the month, Candy Crush was approved and placed on every mobile game store possible. Right now, the game only has a player base of around 30,000 people though. Although that's not a lot compared to the success of the game in his past life. Peter knew that sooner or later Candy Crush's popularity would explode. He only had to wait patiently. With the game shop, Parker Games has made a little over $100,000 this month. That's mostly due to a small percentage of whales, who just throw money at the game like it's nothing, and some average players buying small amounts of gold here and there. Peter has given May and Ned each 10% of Parker Games, leaving him as the majority owner with 80%. He also hired May, MJ, and her mother Grace as game testers, paying them each $3,000 a month. Ned was hired as a game developer and paid $4,000 a month. When he learned that he would be a developer for their game studio, Ned started working on his own game. Of course, Peter funded his best friend's project with all the equipment he would need to get the job done. "What are you going to make?" Peter asked upon hearing about Ned's plans. "I think I'll make a story game set in space, kind of like Cowboy Bebop," Ned says as he does the signature handgun sign that Spike did upon his death in the anime. "Sounds cool to me. You should make it for PC so we don't have to sell physical discs. I'd rather not deal with those logistics." Peter encourages Ned, who agreed with a nod. As for everyone else, they were reluctant to make money without really doing anything for it, but Peter managed to talk them into taking their free paychecks. "It's like you're my sugar daddy now," MJ comments as she got her first payment. "Then call me daddy from now on," Peter jokes with a smile. "Ew, no." As for May and Grace, both of them started taking fewer hours at work. Thanks to this extra money coming in, both single moms could start enjoying their free time a bit more. Peter set his own monthly payment to $35,000, which adds up to $420,000 a year. He could have probably taken more, but it's best to stay out of the IRS's crosshairs. Once Candy Crush starts bringing in more money, he could up the pay again. As Peter arrived at the warehouse for his next training session with Natasha, he found her waiting for him with a manila folder in hand. "Good, you're on time," Natasha says as she hands over the folder. "This is your first contracted mission from S.H.I.E.L.D. "Oh, so I'm ready now?" Peter asks as he opens the folder. "You've been ready since the day we met, Spidey." Natasha rolls her eyes at him. She's been calling him Spidey for about a week now. It started because Natasha found it awkward to always refer to him as Spider-Man. Peter offered the nickname to her and it just kind of stuck. "The mission is simple," Natasha says as Peter starts skimming through the folder. S.H.I.E.L.D. has an agent who went missing in Pyongyang, North Korea. She was tasked with infiltrating the ruling Kim family's estate as a servant, but communications went dark. We haven't heard from her for a few days. "What was her mission?" Peter asks as he couldn't find it in the file. "She was looking for information on possible nuclear weapons being made. The world doesn't need any more nukes after all," Natasha explains. "You want me to just bring her back, right?" Peter asks. "Yes, along with any intel on nuclear weapons as well," she clarifies. "All right, I accept the mission." Peter nods as he tucks the folder under his arm and walks out of the warehouse. "Wait, we have a plane on standby for you," she calls out. "No thanks," Peter waves over his shoulder. "My way is faster." Chapter 30. Mission. Leaving a confused Black Widow behind, Peter returned home through a portal and started preparing for his very first mission from S.H.I.E.L.D. First, Peter took a photo of the missing agent from the folder he was given and tossed it into the air. The picture froze in midair as Peter waved his hands, forming 3 spell circles around it. As the spell circles finished drawing themselves, they morphed into a globe, which surrounded the picture at its core. The characteristics of the Earth slowly formed on the globe, as a red dot appeared where North Korea was located. Walking up to the floating golden globe, Peter grabs it with both hands and pulls, expanding it to more than quadruple its size. In doing so, he could see the exact location of the missing agent from the picture. "She's still alive and in Pyongyang," Peter muttered as he memorized her exact location and waved his hand, causing the globe to disappear and the photo to fall into Peter's waiting hand. "What was that?" May asked as she watched from the door. "A locator spell," Peter says as he hands the folder he was given to his aunt. "I was given a rescue mission from S.H.I.E.L.D. That's the spy agency run by MJ's father, right?" She asks unsurely as she opens the folder. "Yup, I'm heading out to complete it now," Peter says. "Wait, you're going to North Korea?" May asks incredulously as she read the location in the file. "Yup, but I'll be back within the hour. I already know the location of the missing agent, as you saw from the spell, so it shouldn't take long." Peter explains as he snaps his fingers, causing his spider suit to turn completely black. "Wow, what was that?" May asks in awe at Peter's skill in magic. "I added this enchantment for undercover work. Can't have people wondering why Spider-Man is saving American spies from hostile countries after all," Peter explains as he pulls up his mask and kisses May on the cheek. "I'll be home soon." Pulling the mask back down, Peter opens a portal and steps through, leaving his worried Aunt May behind. Stepping through the portal, Peter appeared in a utility closet deep underneath the presidential palace in Pyongyang, which is the main residence of the Kim family. Using his enhanced senses to avoid roaming guards and servants, Peter leaves the closet and makes his way toward the location he saw on the locator spell. Cameras were placed at every corner, yet Peter walked openly in front of them without worry. He's invisible to cameras with his suit on after all. Descending lower than what would be thought possible, Peter took multiple stairways to a floor that was filled with solitary-style prison cells. Seeing and sensing multiple guards in his path, Peter dashes out from the stairwell and begins knocking out soldiers one by one. Peter moved too quickly for anyone to see his attacks coming, making it easy to handle the unaware guards. Soon enough, nearby prisoners started cheering him on, while others began pleading to be let free. Moving quickly as the cameras will see the guards dropping like flies, Peter rushed to a certain cell and rips the thick metal door from its hinges. Tossing the door aside, Peter is confronted by a weak and tired-looking woman, matching the picture he received from Natasha only moments ago. "Ah!" She yells and sprints in Peter's direction with a sharp piece of what looked to be a metal bed frame. Seeing as he plans to portal her home, Peter grabs the spear-like weapon, which was only inches away from his chest, and backhands her across the face. Instantly, she falls to the ground unconscious, and Peter tosses the makeshift spear aside. From down the hall, Peter could hear multiple armed guards clearing the halls, looking for the intruder that somehow didn't appear on any cameras. Well, it's time to go. Peter mutters as he destroys the camera in the cell and opens a portal, carrying the unconscious woman through. Only seconds after the portal closes, an elite team of North Korean soldiers bursts into the cell, finding nothing but a broken and empty concrete box. Walking out of the portal and into the warehouse he usually trains in, Peter messages Natasha on his new ghost phone, which he made because it was annoying to use the laptop for simple things, like messages, calls, and normal posts on social media. "Peter, meet at the warehouse." Peter knew S.H.I.E.L.D. would figure out that he has some sort of movement or spatial ability, as no one would be able to complete this mission in under an hour. Just the travel time alone would make it impossible. Though, Peter would rather not waste his time. If he completely hides his portal-making ability, Peter would have to travel normally for all of his missions, and that's just not going to happen. He has far more important things to do than wait on a plane for hours at a time. Not to mention the fact that he would have to fly back as well. "Nope, not happening," Peter thought. Waiting for only about 10 minutes, Natasha walks through the warehouse doors, dressed in her casual clothes. Peter only rarely sees her dressed like this, as she usually wears the battle suit during training. What did you? Natasha starts, but her words soon disappear. Standing before her is Peter in his all-black suit, with a passed-out woman in a gray prison jumpsuit at his feet. Mission accomplished. Peter gives her a thumbs up as his suit shifts back to its original blue and red color scheme. How? Natasha asks as she strides forward and checks the sleeping prisoner's facial features. I'm the amazing Spider-Man. Something like this is child's play for me. Peter brags jokingly. No, it's physically impossible for you to have retrieved her already, she says, looking at Peter unbelievably. I only gave you the mission an hour ago. I'm just that good at my job, I guess. Peter keeps beating around the bush. It's so hard being me. I do my job in record time, and this is how I'm thanked. What has our great country come to? Are you actually not going to tell me how you did this? Natasha asks, not falling for Peter's bullsh times tea. Nope. Peter answers plainly. Did you at least get any info on the nukes? She asks in exasperation. Oops. Peter suddenly remembers that he forgot the other half of the mission. I'll be right back. Rushing out of the building, Peter finds a safe place to open a portal and appears back in the closet he started in before. He could hear alarms going off and soldiers stomping down the halls. Before leaving the closet this time, Peter waves his hand and a large spell circle appears in front of him. Once the circle finishes forming, it floats backward into Peter, morphing him into a completely different person. Now standing in the utility closet was a North Korean soldier, similar to the ones he saw during his first trip here. Time to snoop around, Peter thought as he walked out of the door. Only half an hour has passed and Peter managed to find a heavily guarded facility underneath the prison that he visited last time. Knowing that he won't be able to get past the guards, as he doesn't even speak their language, Peter looked for another way inside. After only a few minutes, Peter found a vent that led to an elevator shaft and dived in. Sneaking out of the elevator doors, Peter found a very large underground hangar filled with giant missiles. The warhead on each missile had the nuclear symbol painted on it, giving Peter exactly what he needed. Who in their right mind would live above a stash of nukes? Peter thought as he snapped a few pictures and portaled back to New York. Running back to the warehouse, Peter found it crawling with S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, who seemed to be giving the woman he rescued medical attention while questioning her about the mission. I'm back, Peter announces, causing the many agents to pull out their guns and aim at him. Put the guns away, Natasha orders as she walks up to Peter. Did you get the intel? Yup, check your phone, Peter says as he presses send on his ghost phone. Natasha checks her texts and finds pictures of nuclear missiles. Where is this? One floor lower from where I found her. Peter points to the now conscious woman across the room. Underneath the presidential palace in Pyongyang. What type of idiot would hide nukes under their own house? Natasha mutters. I said the same thing. Peter nods in agreement.